Hello, my name is Samantha and
It's your boy Remoy, George Phillip, the first.
And this is Masculinity, back for another week.
What's up, Sam?
Well, I mean, LeBron's a Laker now.
Boring.
Boo. And
boring.
you know, my brother was like, oh, you know, like you need to become a Laker fan now, Samantha, because like I don't want you to talk about that.
I would never become a Laker fan.
I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I'm more of a Laker
again.
hater because of this.
I mean, I've given up my hatred, but fuck that. You know what I mean?
You know, can I tell you something why you and your brother should be interested in what I'm about to say?
Please.
I love France.
Oh.
Their World Cup team is beautiful. Pogba to Mbappe is one of the most beautiful things I've ever watched in my life. Like, I'm all Team France in this World Cup.
You know, I am Team France too, and I probably should start watching the World Cup because I heard that the Argentina game was like stupid.
Oh, Mbappe is a god. Like, he's 19 years old and destroying the World Cup.
Where does he play? Like, what's his club team? Do you know?
He was at Monaco. When he was like 16 years at Monaco, and now he's the second highest paid player in the world.
Oh.
I don't know who he's with, though.
Oh, I know Pogba's with MU, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're going to spare you our continuous sports talk and launch right into it. So we've been talking about a number of things this season, everything from aggrieved entitlement to incarceration to the impact of immigration dynamics on families, which has become of the essence, especially with what's going on right now. So while talking to one of our illustrious guests, Hudson Taylor of Athlete Ally, we started to touch on sports and gender dynamics and what it looked like to hold people accountable for creating welcoming and supportive spaces for LGBTQ athletes. And one of the things that we touched on is the separation along the gender line. And one of the things we wanted to dive deeper into today is what it's like to be a woman athlete in a field that is considered inherently masculine, especially within sports that are considered like specifically for men more than others. So, you know, like your basketballs mostly. LeBron. Anyway, if you remember last season, we talked about ESPN's Jemele Hill having to stay in her lane when it came to having an opinion about sports and how it reinforces these strict gender lines. So today, we are pleased to have two really cool women joining us to navigate just that. So Julie Henderson, who played college ball and made it to the NCAA Final Four with Notre Dame, is here with us. We also have,
Hello.
We also have Halston Bruce, who is a former competitive cyclist and is now a powerlifter and a personal trainer based here in New York. So
shout out to Halston.
Yes. So thank you guys both for being here. We're really excited to have you today and dive into this conversation.
We're happy to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So, I mean, one of the things that's most exciting about this episode is that, you know, this is really the first time that we're talking to women about masculinity and about like them exhibiting and like masculinity. And I'm not really sure if we're going to go into women performing masculinity just yet, but I mean, we're heading there. So we've been talking for a while about how femininity and masculinity are traits that both men and women inhabit. So it's really exciting to get into this conversation. And now, instead of assuming that's the case, let me just check in and confirm with you how you identify.
Identify as Julie.
Nice.
Well played.
For the most part. I'm straight. I don't even think of myself as straight. I'm just a human being. So I don't see people as gay, straight. People are just people. So I guess I'm just Julie.
Good. Okay.
Cool. And I'm Halston.
Yes.
And I would say I'm queer, female.
Beautiful.
Cool. So let's just backtrack to the beginning and talk about myself because I love talking about myself.
Go on.
When, as a kid, you watch sports, you end up having like these idols. Now, mine were the Michael Jordans. Now, I'm kind of ashamed of that now. And my other one was the jersey I'm wearing right now. I don't know if the camera can capture it, but it's John Starks. Those are two some of my...
boy, John Stark. Sorry, interrupting you.
Wow. Me and you do not get along on this talk.
Oh.
We need to get a camera.
Well, as a
he worked at Piggly
as a Piston
Wiggly.
fan, I was always very thankful that John Starks was Knicks because he was...
chokes?
Oh, my God. He was just hard to watch, but I was
thankful.
I was
the
thankful
ultimate
that he...
heat check, John Starks from three, dunked on Jordan.
I was thankful to have him on the Knicks.
I'm guessing he wasn't one of your idols, but that's fine. Sam, who were your idols growing up?
Sorry to interrupt. I couldn't help myself.
No.
I can tell. Oh, you frustrate the hell out of me. Anyways.
I'm not
John
familiar.
Starks.
I mean, kind of, but not really. Anyway.
I saw him on the street once outside of the I can't remember the name of that club. And I freaked out. I was like, "You're John Starks." And he looked at me and I go, "You're John Starks." And he looked at me again and I go, "Dude, you're John Starks." And he goes, "Chill out."
You got to be cool. You got to act cool.
I can't go
That's
around
really
John
funny.
Starks.
It's tough talk. Anyway, so who were my idols? I mean, I guess I love tennis. So for me, it was like, I really loved Michael Chang. The
Sure.
weird way. Yeah, my mom really loved Pete Sampras.
Oh,
so
I love Sampras.
yeah, so I had a natural liking to him.
I wish he was still around, like, doing stuff. I know he's, like, involved with tennis, but I wish I could see him and hear him be, like, a commentator or something, because I love that dude.
Yeah. I liked Andre Agassi, too. And he was with Steffi Graf, who I think is, like, half French or something. Or, yeah, so I was, like, paying attention to her. And I love Marie-Josée Pérec because she was, like, so fast and, like, very natural and awesome. And, of course, I mean, I love me some Serena. So, and Venus, actually.
Did you read his book, Open? Andre Agassi's book?
No.
You have to read it.
I heard about it.
It made me, as a former athlete, it made me cry, it made me weep, it made me love him even more and appreciate. It's all about, like, he opens the book saying, "I hate tennis."
What? But how can you hate tennis?
Because you have to read the book. It's called Open.
Yeah.
So I literally sobbed the whole entire time reading it.
Damn. Okay. I guess we'll
Well,
take it.
It's a must read.
Book club.
Yes.
Speaking of our, idols, did you two have idols growing up or any sort of sports figures?
I didn't really grow up athletic at all, and I am shocked that I turned into some sort of mid-level, low-grade athlete
You
that
look
I am
like
now.
an athlete to me.
I
It
look
sounds like you're
whatever I
an athlete.
am.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have athletic idols. I grew up doing ballet, honestly,
Cool.
and I grew up in a ski town, and I was not even a jock enough to even ski or snowboard until kind of much later. So, yeah, I that question really stumped me, actually.
I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I grew up a Fab Five.
Ooh, shout out to the Fab Five. Shout out to my boy Jalen Rose.
Yes. And I grew up, like, with people like Cheryl
Jones.
Miller.
Shout
I hated Reggie, of course, Reggie Miller.
I hate him
But
as well.
So
since
cocky.
Oh my
this
God.
jersey
my
I'm
God.
wearing.
But you know how I realized he got that way? His sister used to beat his butt as a kid.
Yeah.
Cheryl Miller. People
It's
don't know.
all
about
because
her.
of Cheryl.
Cheryl is one of the best ball players to ever live.
I agree.
And people don't know this. And I grew up with, like, Cheryl Swoops. Those girls posted Michael Jordan, of course. I loved, hated him.
Right
Yeah.
there with you.
And Isaiah Thomas. I mean, I grew up with a plethora of men and women athletes. And I love seeing strong bodies. Even in the Olympics, I would see Jackie Joyner Kersee, her thick thighs, and she had cellulite. I'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. She's in shape, but yet she still has the cellulite. And just, that's actually how I got my mindset for the female body. We can be big and strong, and we still may have our dimples, we still may have these things, but being a female is all different shapes and sizes. So I really grew up in a programming of in shape in being strong, not being skinny and petite.
So are these folks like the people that got you into sports, like those idols? Like, how did you get into?
Well, I'm 6'1". I was always a really tall kid. And my dad didn't know what to do with me as a kid. He was like, she's a girl. Oh, man, no one touch her. So he actually introduced basketball to me. And that's how we started. That's how we actually fell in love, my dad and I. And so at 9 years old, I've been doing 1,000 shots each hand from the age of 9.
Each hand?
Each hand.
Damn.
And I mean, that was just for hook shots, not community jump shots or layups, or that was just basics. So I was already in this mindset of ball. And then I see the athletes. At the age of 9, basketball came the way me and my father talked and fell in love and really became good friends. And then this whole other world opened up, seeing Cheryl Miller and, and just seeing Michael Jordan and the Pistons and we'd really scout the games, and I would learn the games from watching these guys play. So my whole childhood was actually sports. That's how I actually learned to be a human being, funny enough, how to compete, how to believe in myself, how to deal with pain, my whole mindset. And I don't know how to do anything else than have this athletic mindset, which is good and bad at times.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so these people were they're all feeding me into what I was already being brought into.
Well, I think this is important because it was such like a root system for your life and your personality and who you are now currently, right? But I got to admit something, and it's super fucked up, but growing up in Texas, in the South, that is very traditional when it comes to patriarchy and masculinity, there's almost this dismissiveness about females in sports. Like, girls basketball, that doesn't really count. That's not real. Like, boys basketball is basketball. Girls basketball is just girls basketball.
Like everything else in life.
Sure. And that's what we're talking about. These are the signifiers that we've normalized and be made normal and allowed to be normal. And a lot of young men growing up just repeat that and replicate that ongoing tradition. Now, as an adult, I understand how fucked up that is. And also, it's funny, you'll hear a lot of young men who are now young adults who have daughters, and they're like, oh no, I have to challenge this, and they're like, that's when they become like assaulted by how disgusting of a statement that is. But I'm wondering, as like kids, whether you didn't participate necessarily in sports, but if you heard that growing up, or you as a young athlete heard that growing up from boys on the street or boys in school, and how that affected you.
Well, I think I was brainwashed, honestly, because I could beat most boys, even now. I mean, unless they play.
I would never play with you.
Unless they played in the NBA, I can probably deal with most men. So the men that I grew up with, and my dad was in particular, I can actually smell out the guys I can play with. Yeah. Some guys try to break my nose if I play with them because their ego gets hurt. Yeah. But I grew up in Detroit playing ball, and so I know how to play with guys, and I just always the guys that I played with respected me. They played hard and played me hard, but they knew how far they could go because they were stronger than me. And I always had things. I had my 3 big black uncles watching me at the sideline and watching everything. So
don't fuck with her.
Yeah, and so I grew up with very strong men, and they just thought the world of me and thought I was a student of the game. So I actually didn't even think I was less. I knew that I wasn't necessarily as strong as a man. That's why I had the hook shot. That's why I had the repertoire of runners, things that men were taller than me or bigger than me, but I could still.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be. But it's like my favorite movie of all time, which we didn't talk about in the last podcast.
What are you going to say?
Love and Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, your favorite movie of all time is Love and Basketball?
Top 3 romance movies, Love and Basketball is number 2.
She wore my number 32.
1.
Why would you be so shocked?
No, I just can't believe I didn't know that about you. Like, we talk about Love and Basketball, like, separately all the time.
I went and saw it the other day at Alma Draft House. Anyways,
wow, I feel
it's like
closer to you now. That's incredible.
It's playing now?
They had one screening of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So remember that, but like that female character, young girl, was like, I don't care. I am this person, and I'm really fucking good. I can fuck you up. Yeah.
Well, I just had the mindset, and I knew I was a ball player.
Yeah.
Girl, boy, it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. Most boys I could beat, so I didn't think I'm a girl. I can't. I think it was my dad's belief in myself, and we play something 3 or 4 hours a day. It's like part of eating. It's like my natural vernacular is I'm a ball player, and if I got beat by a guy, I'd be really hurt. If I got beat by a girl, I'd be hurt. Yeah. I hated to lose. Losing was losing. It didn't matter if it was male or female.
Yeah.
And so I think I was actually brainwashed, and even I was always shocked when people looked down, oh, you're a girl playing. I was like, oh, please. Like, I almost, like, my ego was so big that I almost deflected off of it.
Yeah,
which
didn't even affect you.
No, and that's my dad's programming, which is really smart, because even now I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm like, psh, guy in the NBA, I can beat you. I'm like, Julie, he's, NBA player. I probably can't. But I just see it. I see how the programming is still strong. Yeah. So, I mean, there are guys I know that look at me, and I'm like, if you only knew. I'd embarrass you right now.
That's right.
But I'm gonna smile and I can feel though if somebody's a ball player. I can tell by the way they walk, and even if they do a shot in the air, I can tell right away. Like, please don't even try it.
That's amazing.
I would be terrified just to shoot next. I don't want to even play you. I don't even want to get on the court and like air and jump shot.
The
like
next
I'd be
podcast.
so nervous.
Well, I'm trying to be gentler now. Now it's like, cause now that I'm 40 and I'm not really playing. I only play if I'm paid now for commercials or acting, but. Not to be so judgmental of the game. It's meant to be fun too. I don't have to be the best, and I'm still programmed to be the best.
It's a competition. I'm trying to be the best. Yeah.
No, but I'm trying. It's not always healthy for me to always be on this high string adrenaline rush. So if you, it'd be good practice for me. Just let you be whoever you are, and if you don't play well, who cares? You're still a great person.
You'll just be giving me that look, and I'll be like, God damn it, Remoy.
Well, how about I play next to both of you guys? I feel really
with those nails.
I don't think I've ever
dribbled.
Well, thank you. I don't think I've ever dribbled a basketball. I don't think I can make it more than a few feet.
You'll be the level set. Yeah.
The ringer. Yeah, the ringer.
Well, I mean, I'm curious, actually, because you're a power lifter. Mm-hmm. So, like, I guess women power lifters, that's something that's inherently considered to be, because, I mean, with basketball, there are, like, women's teams and whatever, and I feel like, and I actually don't know how powerlifting works, or if you're in teams, or if it's, like, you have individuals or whatever, but, like, how is it for you, like, coming into your own as, like, a lifter in that field?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned something about basketball teaching you how to be in the world. And I grew up doing ballet, like legit leotards. And I always had this like kind of thicker frame. So I would always be put in the back, or, they'd be like, how about you try jazz, sweetie? Like I would get that a lot. Or
I got that shit too.
Yeah. So understanding that an elegant body can still be strong was something that I really took with me into the world. And, kind of having that like secret strength, right? That like you move with yourself, but yet you know how strong you are, and you know what you've got. And with powerlifting, so it is definitely a male-dominated sport, and it still very much is. But women are having a come up right now in a really big way. And now instead of having just the women in the morning on the competition days and the men in the afternoon, there's like women on Thursday, Friday, men on Saturday, Sunday, whatever, something like that. So they're actually, it's really, it's having a nice upswing, and I kind of like hit it right as it was getting really popular. I haven't been doing it that long, about 2-3 years, competing for about 2 years. And you compete individually. There are team competitions, but you mostly compete individually in your weight class.
Oh,
yeah. So you're
like boxing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And we do the cuts and stuff like that to be more competitive and all that garbage as well. But you sacrifice a little bit of strength when you do that, depending on when your weigh-in is. But yeah, it's been the most feminist thing I have ever been a part of, absolutely, because the men do look at us like equals in the gym, and like, hey, I need a lift off on my bench, and they like don't even hesitate. And I don't feel, this gym that I go to is a specialty gym, so maybe I don't know if there's like ball courts that are like more professional level, that they cut out the riffraff kind of thing. That's sort of what it is. Like, you pay a premium to use Olympic grade steel and iron, and you're lifting with, people that are very serious about the sport, and that makes the whole environment much more serious. And I'm very thankful for it's like safe space in a way, but it is. But it totally is.
And it's so surprising because honestly, I would think it's the other way. Maybe it's just the particularity of the gym, but I would think that because we live in a world that is so like binary patriarchal, that you'd walk into a gym and a dude would just see a girl and just be like, in his head, maybe not outwardly, just like brush her off. And like, even if she's going to, do a squat or whatever, I don't know anything, excuse me.
No, you got it.
Do squats or whatever. And he would just like, in the back of his head, whether it's conscious or unconscious, he'd dismiss her. And it's cool to hear that there's community and support, and it's not so gendered, and it's actually a safe space versus the real world, which is not a safe space.
True. I mean, I think if you go into like any New York sports club or Bally's or Crunch, or I don't even know what the equivalent, whatever. If you go into any commercial gym like that, there's definitely that feeling. And every once in a while, I've like dabbled in a commercial gym just so I can use different, equipment, like those cable machines, or like the one that is just a bicep
curl. That's all I can do.
So sometimes, like a program calls for that, and spending time in a commercial gym and then coming back to my gym, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Sure.
And largely like the men don't fuck with me. I'm like the only woman over there usually touching anything that's heavy. It's mostly women on cardio machines, which like I'd be like, come on, ladies, like somebody come over here with me. But every single time, I've only seen like one other woman over there.
That's so interesting.
And I went to that gym for a good solid year. But yeah, I mean, in those environments, definitely like, the men like size you up. And I'll take videos of my form to make sure like, I'm lifting
you're
alone.
About that life. Yeah.
Well, you have to send it to your coach or whoever you're working with, or just like you're there alone. There's only so many mirrors and stuff. So if you do a video from the side, and I'll have my camera out or my phone, whatever, propped on something, and I'll unrack and go to do a lift, and I could just see dudes just be like, like all these like heads just pop out. I'm like, are you really? Like they're talking to somebody and then they just kind of like do the lean. I'm like, all right. I'm like, yes, I nailed it. You're welcome. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, actually to kind of piggyback on that, so we've talked a lot about like on this show about strength and like leadership and how that's usually something that's associated with men. I mean, it's usually something that's associated with masculinity, let's say, but because everything is conflated these days, everything is it's associated with men as well. So I'm wondering, I mean, both of you are, strong, able, athletic people who compete. And so I feel like I'm wondering, I guess, have you ever thought about it in those terms, like, like embodying masculine energy versus feminine energy, and then calling on masculine energy, like as a competitor versus calling on feminine energy, maybe as a competitor or in other realm? Like, is that something that comes to mind? Like, have you thought about that? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it being a safe space to enact my more masculine traits, I think that's definitely, it comes out, it's the healthiest way for it to come out for me. And I definitely feel like a very feminine woman. I don't ever feel feminine. I'll like rock a sleeveless with my fucking jacked ass arms and like red lipstick. Like it's not two separate things for me. When people comment, I'm like, And sometimes I'm like thrown off guard. I'll be like, oh yeah, do you box? And I'm like, what? I'm like, I look so fat. I look so nice right now. I don't look aggressive. I'm such a nice girl. But I'm like, oh right, because of the muscles. Like that just automatically means that I'm aggressive or that I have anger problems or something. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
But as I was talking to you guys about it before, like I definitely have parts of my personality that I don't like as much and that I want to sort of choke down or try to work through. And those are the more masculine things. And like I have an older brother that picked on me, et cetera, et cetera. Like I always feel like I needed to bring myself a little more to be able to be on everyone else's level. Or if I get uncomfortable in a social situation, I'll start swearing a lot for no reason. But that's where it comes out. I don't get shy. I get bigger.
It's more of like a defense mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we went out to dinner the other night, and when the check came, like I got weird, and because there was a lovely, amazing woman who just said something like, she was about to say, oh, but I only had X. And I thought that meant she was going to pay less. And before she even said anything else, I was like, nah, bitch, we're all paying it equal. Like, you got to like, and I just like strong-armed the whole situation. And I've been thinking about that since like I saw you. It was a really ugly moment. And I didn't know how to like apologize or like, because I don't think I was wrong for saying that, but I just like
do that though. I hate
totally.
that.
And I could see it starting, and I just got like, I was like, I can't deal with this right now. Like, please, let's just like be fair. You might have to pay a little more than you probably
and tax and tip.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So that almost started to happen, and I just like strong-armed the situation so it wouldn't, and that was really ugly and like not okay. And that's where like that masculine, I would say that masculine, like, like, no, I got this kind of thing comes out. So, I'm not always like maybe the most feminine in those situations, but I do feel that being able to bring my strong body to the world is something that is me using my masculine energy for a way that's like in a more positive way for sure.
But would you say your strong body is like it's a fine line between masculine and feminine? To me, your body is strong. It's still feminine. Like you said how we link it automatically. A strong body means masculine. Where to me, a strong body, we give birth. You know, how strong can you be? Yeah. That's like we're the warriors of the world. Actually, it's the miracle of life. And even so, I guess to me, it's a very fine line. What does it mean to be masculine and feminine anyways? What does it mean to embody?
Well, that I guess I just don't ever feel weak. I don't feel like I'm never less than. It's kind of like what you were saying. And so I feel like that's me, like as opposed to having like bark down something, I'm able to just like be present.
Oh, but you consider that more of a masculine trait than a female trait?
I mean, I guess it just kind of came out of my mouth that way. Okay. But
no, I'm just wondering.
No, that's a good clarification.
Questions for myself too. So.
Yeah.
I also want to say, I wonder, like, because you also said masculine versus female, and that instead of masculine versus feminine, and I wonder about that. Like, it's just like the word is that we use and how we. It's just like so like unconscious, and so it's interesting we're having this conversation.
No, it's a good clarification. Yeah. That's a good clarification. I think I'm very much at peace with my masculine traits. Yeah. I feel like I'm very much like, I know I'm like, people look at me a certain way because of the way I look, whether it's more feminine or, like people think I'm tough and going to hurt them, which happens sometimes. But like, I like that. Whatever that is like something that's so authentically me that I don't really think of it as one or the other, that I'm like happy that I am strong, and I'm like the strongest I've ever been in my life. Like, doesn't matter how many groceries, like I got that shit. Like that, it's like those little practical things, like carrying my bike up the stairs. Like I don't even, like it's not even an issue now. And that it wasn't always like that. Yeah. Like I had to work very hard to get here. So it's like, I feel like I earned it. And that like the work ethic that I have to put into it is very much me. And I wouldn't say that that's masculine or feminine, my work ethic. So I think that has a lot to do with the discipline and whatnot.
I think a lot of this, like what we talk on the podcast regularly, is like we talk about masculinity as a performance, and by nature, then we also talk about femininity as a performance, and we've talked about this at multiple points in the podcast conversation. And the why we're saying as performance is because we do live in such a binary society that teaches us from the jump, which we talked about in the last podcast, even from infancy, when you come out of your mother, there's data that shows that boys are treated different than girls. And so the conditioning starts from second one. And that conditioning is what we're talking about, is the performance of masculinity is the product of that conditioning, how society teaches you what to be masculine from a boy from age 1 and a girl from age 1 as well, right? And femininity. And so when we're talking about the performance of masculinity and the performance of femininity, it's the way that you perform certain traits and how society would kind of associate those certain traits as either masculine or feminine. Not necessarily what you associate it as, but how society as general, as the judgmental, conditioned society that we are, would say, oh, you're a female athlete. Well, you're just, you're owning your masculinity. Well, maybe I'm owning my masculinity according to what you're saying. Maybe I'm a leader and you think that's masculine, but really it's just me.
Right.
And these are just, whether I'm performing my femininity or my masculinity, it's not for you to judge, but these are ways that I live my life. But then using a critical eye to understand the actions that I take and the way that I live could be potentially judged as more masculine, in quotes, or more feminine.
I think that it also bears mentioning that, when, like, for example, when you describe your instance at the restaurant, right? Like, that's a performance because it's like, there's a defense thing that's coming up and you're like, okay, I got to do something. Otherwise, XYZ is going to happen. Whereas like you existing in the world and just embodying masculine and feminine traits, I think is a little different. And I do think, like, to piggyback off your point, this notion of like you walking down the street looking great or whatever and like having your arms down, somebody being like, oh my God, like, do you lift a box or whatever? You said like, reminds me of an instance. I think I saw you like the next day or something. Like I hit on this dude at a bar, but it wasn't like what's up?
Sam's got mad game. No, Sam's game is on fucking point.
No, I love it.
All right.
It's just it's just so casual. Just chill.
Honestly, and like I was saying last week, and I've said multiple times on the show, I just don't have an issue with approaching men.
Same. Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I just don't see, like, if I think you're cute and I just want to like say hello, I just don't see why I should like not do that. So I go up to him, right? And
pretty men scare me more than pretty man scares Samantha. That's the fact.
I mean, they don't scare me anymore. They used to, but they're all the same.
I see a pretty man at a bar. I'm like,
they're not all the same.
Talk to him.
It's not right. Yeah. I mean,
you could.
I'm nervous.
That's I've noticed that, but it's okay.
Pretty men.
I mean, that's true.
Sorry.
That's true. Anyway, but so anyway, it's not a quick story anymore. But I went up to him, and I was like, "Hi, how are you? Like, do you come here often?" Just classic pickup line. And he's like, "Oh, so like, what made you so aggressive?" I'm like, all I said was like, do you come here often? And I was being quite shy because my friends had to push me. This is like in the beginning of me hitting on dudes. Like my friends had to push me toward them and stuff. And so that always stuck with me because it's like, I just the fact that I approached you seems aggressive. But if a guy came up to me and said something to me, that wouldn't be perceived as aggressive. It would just be normal. And I feel like, you being fit is perceived as aggressive, whatever the thing. Just because you're a woman, it's not having to do with like what that objectively or inherently is. Yeah. And I think for me, like that's the main thing that we kind of wanted to address here is like this notion of like categorization, because as women athletes, you're regarded as women athletes rather than athletes, and like how we can kind of transform that conversation so that we can have people like be able to be free to be themselves, like, and also for people to be valued, like for women athletes and women's sports to be valued as much as men's sports are. Because I think one of the things that I really always think about is like, I'm a big basketball fan, and I know that a little bit before we talked about like I want to talk to you about this because I know that you played college ball, and I just wonder like, being on the women's team, like the popularity factor, like was it there just as much, or how was it? Because when I look at the WNBA, I'm like, I saw that the WNBA started yesterday, and I was like, I didn't even fucking know the WNBA started. Like, and it's just like,
you as a woman, you don't watch you're not compelled to watch the game. Be honest, you're not compelled, are you? I
mean, but have I ever watched a WNBA game? I don't even know if I would like it, because in my mind, it doesn't even.
Why though? I'm wondering why.
Because I'm complicit in patriarchy? I don't know. I mean, I also am attracted to dudes. Yeah. I love basketball players because I love the game, but also because they're sexy as hell. So there's that going on too. I don't know. Anyway, well, you're really asking me. I don't know. I have no idea why I don't watch the WNBA. And I feel like
I'll tell you a majority thing why is because men's sports get more money, so they're funded better.
Right.
Their athletes are treated better. They put out a better product because of the money that's there. They have the ability to connect with their audiences and do so much marketing and so much on the ground ways to connect with the audience. And it's been such a smooth moving machine for 40 plus years now that inherently when the WA starts in 92 92, maybe 96, something like that.
WNBA, yeah, 92, 93-ish.
Yeah, so they've had to compete against this machine, and the machine already says that men's sports is better. So all the money's going there, and they're putting out the best product because they have the resources to put out such a high quality product. While the WNBA has always been hamstrung by the fact that it's living in the shadow of the NBA, and it's so fucking unfortunate. If they were able to dedicate resources and allocation, you would have such a better product, and you would connect with the audience that would be so willing to watch it. But going back to Notre Dame basketball, like Notre Dame basketball has been an elite program, specifically within women's basketball. But, there's the fucking Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team that is a megalith when it comes within college NCAA sports. Where does that fit in your experience? How did that break down? What was that like?
Well,
so on and so forth.
I think it's very different college versus professional.
Sure.
Like we played in front of 20,000 fans a night, and we couldn't hear on the court. So I guess for me, I've been in a certain like world bubble. And at Notre Dame, athletes are worshipped, and we were really good. The football team was actually awful, but Notre Dame, the legacy is so strong. So even so it goes back.
Sorry, I'm such an asshole.
It goes back to the brainwashing. So I really found myself in college just playing in front of packed stadiums, like UConn.
Gino Auriemma, fucking
fans cussing us out, hating it, feeling the hatred and feeling the heat of the hatred. But we also played in some small universities that was really University of Miami. Nobody showed up for that.
Right.
But also, it's not Miami is not really like a sports as far as for the college anyway. So I think I'm a ex-athlete and I don't watch the WNBA. I watch some of my Notre Dame players. I'll watch them. They're in town, but otherwise I'm not compelled. But I'm also not compelled by basketball. I couldn't even tell you what happened with LeBron. So I'm also not really the fair expert.
Yeah, Julie gets like all these gets to hang out with people, gets maybe courtside offers, but she doesn't care because I don't like basketball anymore. She's the Andre Agassi of basketball. It's fine, whatever. I'm just dying to go to a game, sit in the nosebleeds, but fine, whatever. Anyway.
So I just think college is a very different environment.
Sure.
But it is true. Like a lot of women actually go overseas and play. They can make 30 to 40, 50,000 a month overseas. When the WNBA, the highest I think is 94,000 for the whole season, which is maybe 3 months.
Yeah, I heard Lisa Leslie made $120K one year, and people were like, "Oh shit!" Yeah,
I mean that's ridiculous.
LeBron makes $130,000 a day.
What?
A day?
He's $1 billion contract with Nike.
Yeah,
he's got a lifetime.
For the past
contract.
15 years, he's been making $130,000 a day, which I can't get over. But anyway,
but it does go to like. We don't really have this sounds awful, but from a female stance, we don't have a LeBron. We don't have a woman that can fly.
Well, we don't have the infrastructure to pull potential female athletes out of the system and make a LeBron out of them. While male sports has had an infrastructure that is willing, like whether it's the youth leagues and the parents who get the ability to put their kids in this from a young age, like it's an infrastructural system that. Like girls aren't taught to play sports at a young age, and
now they are. Now that's
more
actually
so
changing
now,
a lot.
Yeah,
and I see these kids now going back to Notre Dame.
Thankfully, yeah.
I see these recruits. These girls are ball players, like 10,
Hell
12 years
yeah.
old, and they have swag. I'm like, wow, these girls, and they're playing with
It's
boys.
about fucking time, yeah.
So I see this whole, and they're all Snapchatting and taping everything, and I'm like, wow, they're dribbling and snapping. Like, this is amazing. How are they doing this? So I'm seeing a whole new generation of girls who are actually playing with boys from a young age is no big deal. And actually, I see my godson. He's 16. He'll be in the NBA. He respects women. Yeah. He plays with them, and it makes me cry because he is this. He's like 6'1". He's to me he's like the next LeBron in my opinion. I'm probably biased, but he wants to play with girl ball players. His mom's the coach in Notre Dame, so she's assistant coach Neil Ivy.
Cute.
But he grew up playing, watching girls and watching all of us play, watching his mom play in the league. So to him, he beats us. I hate that, but he really respects women, and I see this whole new young generation, actually young boys respecting women.
Yeah,
because the women demand it, and the women are ball players themselves. So I think part of the change is like a brainwashing, and not thinking you're beneath it or less than guys. Knowing you're a ball player, not whether you're male, female, you're a ball player. And I've always thought like I'm not black, white. I'm Julie. I'm this being. So like even you, I see you're this beautiful being who. Halston, you're like, no, you're masculine and feminine. We embody both. And I see both traits coming out at you. Like, your face is so feminine. And even your body, you're so curvy to me. So I would never think, as I see you walking down the street all tough. But maybe it's just your personality, how it comes out in different parts of the day.
Yeah, maybe.
But
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I do think that that's all about the way that we're like. I feel like in a way, like the like the comment that you got, the comment that I got, or whatever. Those have nothing to do with us.
No.
It has everything to do with
the
like
conditioning of society.
Yeah.
And that's what we actually talk about most here about men and masculinity is like, so we're saying with you guys in mind that you guys are conditioned or forced to like always potentially be feminine. The world wants you to be feminine. If you go outside of that traditional what is feminine to the world, it gets confusing. Same thing for men though. Men are so forced to be masculine all the time, to show any bit of vulnerability, any bit of emotion, any bit of needing help and support. That's so out of the masculine trait. Like, what's wrong with you? Are you a girl? Like, why are you such a pussy, right? So it's these same kind of strict rules and codes of what it means to be gendered in this world. And that's the conditioning that we live in, and that's what we're trying to break down. And in this conversation, it's just we're trying to engage that, like, you're a girl, but you're showing masculine traits by being an athlete. What is that like?
I mean, on that tip about performing, like, I definitely think that I learned femininity in a lot of ways. Like,
True.
I learned how to do makeup from drag queens and Jessica Rabbit, and like that, like hyper femininity. I really like. I think it's just like over the top and absurd. And I will often. My friend makes fun of me because I'll find pictures of like extreme drag queens to do my makeup, and it looks the fucking same. But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, the contouring, I'm gonna beat this face, and like, I'm terrible at makeup. But that idea of something that's like so put on that it is literally like a mask that you put on. So I think that I mean, I definitely perform both sides, but I'm like pretty comfortable in that. I think, you know, like I'm comfortable to perform being like, you know, slapping my thighs to where they bruise and then like screaming at the top of my lungs before like squatting. Like, do I need to do that? No.
With your long nails. That's amazing.
Yeah.
that's so dope. That's like so dope.
Yeah.
I want to say beast
see her
mode, but I
beautiful
think
nails.
that's problematic in this conversation.
No. A lot of girls that lift actually have really nice nails. I'll just say that as a caveat.
I like that. It's a good,
Thank
it's good like
Contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, I think femininity, I definitely, that seems more work.
Right.
That seems something like a little bit more put on, but I do enjoy it. Like, you know.
I hear that.
I think for me, I grew up a boy pretty much because my dad didn't know how to do with girls. So I knew I was a girl, but I just didn't comb my hair. I didn't wear skirts. I mean, it was like pulling teeth to put me on a skirt.
Mm-hmm.
But becoming a model forced me to become, or at least look at my softer feminine side. I took ballet classes, took dance, even learning my curves and softness. And as an adult, I've really worked on embodying and turning on and off both sides, my masculine side and my feminine, knowing when to use what, because I don't have testosterone. So if I'm always in man mode, I'm going to be so tired. So I actively now consciously turn off my man mode and turn on my feminine. And also it hurts me to see men that when they're vulnerable or when they're softer, they're put down.
Yeah.
I think to me, being manly, men and women actually process things, emotions different. Men hold their emotions down here in their stomach. So you ask a man how you're feeling, it may take you a while. But women, we hold our feelings right here. We like, da-da-da-da. But men are taught to actually keep their emotions here, and it's like a deep well. They have them, it's just got to dig deeper for them. And I really honor men that take the time to actually feel what they're feeling. And I've seen more and more men actually now in contact and actually balancing both their masculine and their femininity. And it makes me, as a woman, like, I would marry a man, a heartbeat that has those. That can be both masculine and feminine and not be
like
so macho and
secure
have to be all like,
oh my God.
because I also think, what does it mean to be female? Half the time, I don't know. Like, I'm a warrior Amazon, whatever I am. Julie, what does that mean? I'm masculine, feminine. My Amazonian warrior can be very feminine. I'm giving birth. That's to me, Amazon. That's warrior, but that's very female.
Yeah.
So I think the lines are very skewed. Just because society says something, I've never really been one to conform.
Right.
Even I grew up, I'm biracial. The world sees you as black, and you're not white. Now I'm like, nope, I am biracial. I don't care how the world sees me. I walk in this world how I am. You can see me. Everyone sees each other through their own lenses, their own glasses, their own pain bodies.
The filters.
Yeah, and so I recognize that, but I also make sure I am what I am. No one anyone else says of me. It's very I emanate that. So this whole, it actually makes me, it's very confusing in a lot of ways. So what is masculine and feminine? It makes me.
Well, I think we should point out that we're both women in our 30s. I'm 34.
I'll be 40 in like 20 days.
And I think that's really important, though, because it took me a while to really figure it out. And I see younger women in powerlifting that are like in their early 20s and fucking crushing and like being really, really incredible. And I think in strength sports, I mean, powerlifting, weightlifting, strong man competitions, strong woman strength competitions, whatever you call it. I think that for women, it's a completely different thing because it heals us from the inside too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it shows us our confidence. And I think men come at it to be like, I was a skinny kid all my life. How many times have I fucking heard that? Like, I was just a fucking wimpy kid and I wanted to get big and I just wanted to get bigger and stronger and stronger. Like every single guy like tells me that same story. And maybe they're like shorter and they're like, yeah, well, I could be short but fucking wide, you know? So I think women come at it like, yeah, I'm getting over an eating disorder. And if I lift, I have to eat. I was raped, and when I deadlift, I think about my rapist. Like I've heard that,
Wow.
and I don't have anything coming from something so point specific, but there's definitely like, you know, trauma. You get over trauma by like making your body strong, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. Like it's so much of who I am now, and it's phenomenal. So I think like women in strength sports is like a different animal, and that's why it's catching so much speed. And where we're at right now, right this very moment, with all the shit that's been going down, like we're coming together in a strong way. Like I've never seen anything like this. So it's we're lifting each other up and like holding each other accountable, and it's amazing to see the men there with us. And I think I'm very lucky with what I have, and I'm in New York, and you know, we're very lucky to have the mix that we have. But it's definitely there.
There's one thing that I want to draw on what you said, which is like the guys who I mean, they're not here to talk about it, but I just wonder, like,
there's two guys in here right now.
No, the guys who were skinny, and then those guys. Because I wonder if that's a way of dealing with trauma as well, that they just don't recognize either. You know,
for sure,
absolutely.
Men are traumatized for not being men already at age of 5 or 6. Men are have this stigma of you got to be big and strong and nothing hurts you right away.
Sure.
That's so ridiculous.
We bully each other as kids all the time. We're dealing
Yeah.
with so much trauma that we use to find tools at a later age to help, whether it's heal from it or find a way to better be aware of it. Right? I absolutely agree.
But the performance of masculinity, like it's so expected for dudes to like be getting jacked that like all of that can just hide underneath all of it. It's crazy. Anyway,
I don't know if a lot of them work through it though, to be honest.
That's Which I mean, I guess that's why we're having this show.
Yeah, but real talk though, just like an as a side, like how did you turn out okay? No, I'm serious. Like you talk about hey. But you know what I mean? I mean, you're very
Me and
self-reflective.
Julie are definitely not friends.
You're very self-reflective, and you know, I mean, it takes a lot of work.
I grew up in a single parent household, single mom. I grew up with my grandma. I grew up with my aunties, but then I had no siblings. I had just myself, so I just grew up being very reflective. Grew up very self-aware and very hyper self-aware. I think that just helped me throughout. It's both whatever and a curse. Like it also is I can be very critical and very judgmental of myself to a fault. Yeah. But I think that's been helpful to help me just be more thoughtful about it. Yeah.
Well, just hearing you speak about it, you're very succinct, and you've definitely thought about it. And obviously, if you're bringing yourself to some sort of medium like this, you've had to have thought about it widely. I don't know. And like you always, a lot of the podcasts, like you bring in your own personal, you know, interactions and how you're raised as a young boy.
I was very lucky in the sense that I got to be like self-aware and thoughtful about that things.
But I don't think you got to be. I think you just probably are.
Yeah.
So you maybe were those things, but you're also that's just part of you, maybe.
Talking about my jacked shoulders over here, can we...
that six-pack over there.
Yeah, all right.
But who needs a six-pack when you got a keg?
There we go. There you go. So there was this event called Pull for Pride.
Yeah.
You mentioned to me in the past. We talked about it in the past. Can you talk more about that and what exactly that was and how that came together?
Yeah, Pull for Pride is a deadlift-only competition, and it's put on by the Women's Strength Coalition, which is a nonprofit. And it started actually right after the election, and it started with this one amazing woman, Shannon Wagner, who I would say is a friend of mine, and she wanted to do a competition to raise money for Planned Parenthood. And who's going to be the most pissed other than strong women that like can help raise money? Like, how can we use our collective strength for the greater good? And so that was like Shannon's mission statement. So last year we did Pull for Pride. I think we raised somewhere around like $40,000. And we did like
great.
3 cities. This year we did 7 cities, and we went over $100,000.
Hell yeah.
And so
That's
each,
amazing.
so it's not separated by gender like most competitions or sanctioned competitions are.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can pull. There's no winner because there's no
It's not
weight
the
classes
agenda.
or anything. Yeah, it's just like grip it, rip it, and wear a freaking tutu and a unicorn mask. Nobody cares. Like there were so many wacky outfits and just a bunch of ridiculousness. It was amazing. But each competition in each city benefited a local charity that deals with LGBTQ issues. And the one in New York went to the Ali Forney Center. So we raised a shit ton of money. We had a shit ton of fun. A bunch of people lifted weight they have never touched before. So it was really fantastic. And so we're going to continue on. And the main goal for Women's Strength Coalition, which I'm really excited to be a part of and have something that I'm so passionate about, like actually turn into something so beautiful. Shannon wants to open a private gym, but it's going to be sliding scale training. So if you can't afford a personal trainer, you're not going to be turned away. So there'll be some sort of exchange. Yeah. So, I mean, the people that probably need this the most are the ones that probably can't afford it. And so to kind of like cut out, divisions of class. Yeah. So it's going to be sliding scale, and there's going to be a trauma specialist on site. So you're going to work along with a counselor when you're learning how to lift weights. So
wow, that's incredible.
So
that's a great dynamic.
There might be a space opening in New York very, very soon. So,
yay!
Yeah,
Please let us know so we can plug it.
Hell yeah! Yeah, I'll be training there, and any and all walks of life are welcome.
Hell yeah!
That's dope.
It's amazing.
I mean, you're jet setting around the world, not going to courtside games. What you got going on?
Work. I'm actually publishing 2 books.
Jesus.
I'm waiting. So actually, a series of 5 books. That's another story about the power of hair. I'm doing hair books. So I'm in the middle of selling those and just working, modeling and acting, auditioning.
That's fantastic.
So, can we see you on any screen coming soon?
Well, I did a series last year. It's not sold yet, so I'm waiting. It's called Gray Ground.
Cool.
And it's being sold as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
So
we'll be on the lookout for that.
Thank you.
Well, ladies, what a treat.
Thank you so much.
Like, this was so great. Thank you.
Even though I got bullied a half of the episode, I had a lot of fun.
Was I my masculine? You think I was my masculine?
Okay. To be fair, I gave you lots of compliments.
Yeah, I know.
Too.
I got it.
So balance it.
Yeah,
I'm
we're good.
Feminine.
We had a good time.
Yeah, coming together. So yeah, thank you. And you guys, please, if you have any questions for Halston or Julie, please feel free to hit us up via the interwebs. Masculinity Pod on Twitter, Masculinity Podcast on Facebook, and Masculinity Podcast at whoistheo.com via email. Like always with a K, of course.
Sure, and we'd love 5 stars. 5 stars. It's a great episode. Let's 5-star this on iTunes or wherever the hell you listen to this. 5-star it.
Leave a comment about how awesome and thoughtful Remoy is. We talked about that today. That's pretty
I don't like it.
It's a good balance.
Turning into myself. I don't like it.
Okay.
Let's go on.
All right. I mean,
I'm done talking.
What?
I thought that
some
was
real shit.
I thought it was too. He's a good balance of both.
Shout out to France.
Can you take
France
the
is good at
compliment?
That's
football,
right.
soccer.
This is all about
Go,
like
we love
masculinity.
you. We love you. He's rejecting us.
I know. If I can take the compliment on my jacked ass shoulders, like, come on.
Anyway, this has been so great, you guys. Thank you for listening. My name is Samantha and Remoy. I don't know why I'm like questioning myself about that. I'm pretty sure that's my name.
Yeah. There's Remoy George Philip. Be first.
And this has been Masculinity. Thank you for listening.
Peace.
Ciao.